gosh, look at the cruelty it's already suffering. Just being packaged up like that. They could have bound its feet like that.
Yeah.
And its neck! That's terrible!
Save that wire, we might be able to use that for...
Okay.
We're going to have to cut the head off this doll right away and make it more floppy for some of our tests.
What? No way.
We want it to be floppy because we're going to give it shaken baby syndrome so we can see what kind of G-forces you pull.
But I bet its head is kind of...
Give it a good shake. See, it's not floppy enough.
Its arms are.
The arms are good and floppy. Alright, good. Well, we'll make the head more floppy. That is pretty disturbing.
Zuka, what's doing? Good. Be nice.
What do you think that weighs? Not as much as a baby, huh?
No.
Maybe put a little weight in it.
5 pounds, maybe?
I doubt it. Let's go check it on the scale.
Okay.
Come on, baby. We're going to go upstairs and see how much you weigh. Alright, this is my weight with the baby. Boy, I'm scrawny. 168. Now we'll set the baby aside, and we're at 168. So that doll weighs 0. This is what happens when you have bad equipment. Now we need to make this thing heavier, so I think the only logical and really cheap thing to do is to steal this cooking bowl and wander down to the nearby stream and just get some gravel and small rocks, and we'll unzip tie the arms, which are held on with zip ties, and maybe we'll drill a hole in the legs that we can later tape up, and then we'll just fill the appendages with sand mixture, and then we'll stuff a few rocks in the rest of the thing, and we should be able to get it to be about 4 or 5 pounds, hopefully that way. And that'll be a better analog for the accelerometer test. Hey dog, come on, let's go. We'll go for a walk down to the river. Get some dirt. This is the kind of errand that the dog quite enjoys. Don't drink too much of that. This is disgusting water, dude. Anyway, plenty of river sand. So next step, we washed out the sand and rock just to get most of the cruddier organic material and the finer sand out of there, so that when we stick it in that doll it doesn't get too grody or leak all over the place. We'll let it dry, and then we'll stuff the doll with that. Seems like it weighs about, that's a good 3-4 pounds. So that's a start. Alright, this is made in China, a company called City Toy. Pretty cheap. The head is held on with a zip tie, which is what we're going to do, but we're going to zip tie it in such a manner that it can flop around a lot more for some of our tests. So, let's ask the dog. Hey, the dog, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Come here. What do you think of that? Is that a good one? Is this going to work out? What do you think? Now, before you judge my dog too harshly for growling at this thing, you gotta admit, it's pretty creepy. I have no idea what it's doing. But it's freaking me out, too. Now you can see that thanks to our handy friend, Mr. Black & Decker cordless drill, I've got some holes in the neck of the substructure as well as the plastic top. And so then I'm just going to hook it together with some zip ties so that the head doesn't fall off, but that it's pretty floppy, kind of like a actual baby head would be, so that we can get a baseline on actually what kind of G's shaking pulls, which is probably more than the 6 that the sensor will measure. But we'll try it anyway, and then we'll have a good baseline. So, time to Frankenstein the baby together. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape. We got it put back together. The head, it's a pretty good swing on it. It's not as floppy as I would like, but anyway, I'd probably just overload at that point. So I think we got a pretty reasonable doll to test here. Okay, so now this is the unstuffing subroutine of the creepy baby that likes to be shaken. Okay, almost have it unstuffed, after which point we are going to just restuff it with gravel and sand we cleaned from the river, so hopefully it won't stink too much. This is our river sand mixture. You can see it's actually kind of gnarly. It's cleaned. Oh, I just got it on the floor. I'm going to make a mess. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but there's actually chunks of like broken glass and stuff, because it's not like we're living in a natural wonderland here. It's the DC suburbs and things are gross. So we're going to stuff that baby full of rocks and gravel, and it's okay. It's not a real baby. Real babies need a lot more rocks and gravel in their diet. Hold the seam, and the hole's not very big, so this is a little bit tedious. I like to start, if you're stuffing a baby, after you've basted it with your olive oil glaze, the next thing you do is you put rocks in. Lots of nice crunchy rocks. And then we'll spoon the gravel in later. And I'm going to say this thing's going to be like 6 to 8 pounds, I think, by the time we're done, which is probably about the size of a regular baby. So now my myth-busting assistant, who is going to provide the actual baby test bed, is stitching up the dummy so that the sand we stuffed it with doesn't come flying out under the heavy loads we're going to put it in, you know, like riding in baby carriers, in bike trailers,
all that dangerous stuff.
All that dangerous stuff, all that stuff that will give your baby shaken baby syndrome, because that's what the internet tells you. This thing weighs, if that thing weighs less than 5 pounds right now, I'll be surprised. It's full of sand except in the arms and legs. It still enjoys being abused. I think we take it upstairs and weigh it.